The world recognizes natural immunity. We don't, because everything in this country has to go through the pharmaceutical companies. Natural immunity is the best kind of immunity. We shouldn't fire people who have natural immunity because they don't get the vaccine. We should hire them. Yes?
If someone tests as having antibodies.
Well, okay, but you know, people who've had it, I've had it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I shouldn't be tested anymore. I had the vaccine.
And if someone's willing to be a fireman, if someone's willing to be a policeman, if someone's willing to go into a burning building and says, I'm just not that afraid of COVID and I don't want to take the vaccine, that should be enough. He shouldn't be losing his job. He shouldn't be furloughed without pay. The guy that saves lives because he doesn't want to take a vaccine. It's ridiculous.
And just a little messaging. I mean, I see it all the time. I saw it driving in today. People outside alone, walking with a mask. It's so stupid. It's an amulet.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
A charm people wear around neck
yes.
to ward away evil spirits. It means nothing. I mean, can't we get people to understand the facts more? I mean, listen to this. For unvaccinated hospitalization risk, unvaccinated, 41% of Democrats thought it was over 50%.
So realize what he's saying. Pew did a poll, and Democrats, over 40% of Democrats thought that if you get COVID, the chances of you going to the hospital are 50%. That's what Democrats thought. This is what he's talking about. Almost half of the people who identify as Democrats thought that the risk of going to the hospital from COVID was over 50%. He's going to give you the real number.
Unvaccinated,
Eric, hang on. He's gonna find it.
Hospitalization rate for the vaccinated is actually 0.01%. And the rate for the unvaccinated is 0.89%. So in both cases, the correct answer is less than 1%. They thought it was over 50. How do people, especially of one party, get such a bad idea?
Because they're watching CNN, MSNBC, which is owned and funded by Big Pharma. That's why. How do they get such a... And they also have been manipulated by their political leaders and their news media establishment to see the vaccines and COVID as a culture war. That's what they've been led to believe. And it's a way to dunk on your opponents. And so now, of course, they want to think that. So if you get COVID and you're not vaccinated, your risk of going to the hospital is less than 1%. 0.89. If you are vaccinated, your risk of going to the hospital is 0.01%. So it goes from 0.01% up to 0.89%. Now, to me, that sounds like less than 1% of a difference. Some people will look at those numbers and say, Jimmy, that means that unvaccinated people have an 88 times greater chance of going to the hospital. Well, you could look at it like that. I tend to look at it like less than 1% chance. You can say you have an 89 times greater chance of being hospitalized. You can say that if you want to take the most grandiose framing you could possibly take. Or you could say it's less than 1%. To even be hospitalized. Now, do you feel like you've been a victim of a fear campaign? Do you feel like you've been a victim of a fear campaign? Hospitalization, less than 1%, and we shut down the goddamn entire economy. And how many people killed themselves because of depression over that? How many suicides were created by that? How many broken families were created by the lockdowns? Which is why the WHO warned against doing that.
You know, because like now they want us to do all these boosters we were talking about with Andrew. I mean, I don't want
that's allowed.
Look, I never wanted the vaccine. I took one for the team. And by the way, you know who doesn't get a lot of vaccines? The millennials. I know a lot of millennials, especially the 20-year-olds. They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't think they need it. They're probably right. But I tell them, I didn't want it either. I took one for the team. But every 8 months you're going to put this shit in me? I don't know about that. Maybe I don't need one. I don't want a one-size-fits-all. My body may be different than your body.
Yeah, I lost you, man. That's crazy. Look,
My body isn't different. Everybody's body isn't somewhat different. I just read the statistics about who dies from this.
You're trying to be cute and you're rolling
I'm
the
not
dice.
trying to be cute.
No, I know I'm in your house. I don't want to step over the line here, but genuinely, people's lives are on the line, and just as significantly, our very way of life is on the line here. It's
Right.
very important that people.
Fear. Our way of life, human life, is like there's a nuclear bomb heading towards us instead of a virus that 99 point fucking whatever percent people survive.
We get vaccinated. It's
Right.
very important that we
I
express
said I
trust
took
in our
one for the
institutions.
team. Right. I'm saying get
absolutely.
vaccinated.
But if there's a need for boosters, particularly absolutely as the evidence is showing amongst those who have underlying conditions, amongst the elderly, so on and so forth.
Correct.
It's important that they take them, and it's important that they trust those who are urging.
Yes, it's important that the elderly and people with underlying health conditions get vaccinated. I agree with that. That's where it should stop. You certainly shouldn't be vaccinated kids. And it's going to circulate forever, so
them to do it.
Okay, but you just said underlying conditions and elderly. I don't count myself either. So is my body different?
Well,
Could I have some medical autonomy?
that's there. Look at Bill Maher talking about having some medical autonomy. And I think the Democrats are, again, miscalculating on this one. They're playing to their shit lib base because they're sufficiently scared, and the rest of the world wants to get on with their life. The rest of the country's ready to get rid of this. I was just in Florida. They're done. They're done with this. They're going to, if you get COVID, we'll treat it. We have monoclonals. We have other, now they just found out fluvoxamine, which I've been taking since May, is a very good treatment against COVID. So there's lots of, there's treatment. Now, plus I have my vitamin D levels up. I have my zinc levels up. So we're set. I'm with him. I want some bodily autonomy. And if you want a vaccine, you should get a vaccine because it'll protect you. Your vaccine doesn't protect anybody else. And that's why mandates are crazy. And they're nothing but a big push, but just propaganda from Big Pharma to put money in their pocket. And vaccinating children is nuts. Fucking nuts.